Right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to MVP Office Hours. Today's December 19th. Squire, we're looking at your screen. Hold on. And I'm so sorry, you guys. Today is December 19th, 2025, the last episode of MVP Office Hours for this year. Future registrations are bit.ly/MVPOH capitalized, and recordings can be found on YouTube at MVPOHUS. This is a global MVP Office Hours. We meet on the first and third Fridays, generally speaking, except for next go round because we're taking my birthday off. And our next meeting is January 16th. You can follow Squire and I on LinkedIn if you like, because that's where we post the updates. We also post the updates in the Salesforce Trailblazer community. We do have an email address, however, it is not generally used. Your best bet is to go to the community and share your questions there. If you do mention us on LinkedIn or other social medias, we do ask that you use one of our hashtags. Problem solve together and better together are two of our favorites. Some upcoming events. We've got Architect Dreamin' in Scottsdale, Arizona, with a fast follow to Cactus Force in Scottsdale, Arizona. And then the next big conference is coming up. We've got TDX in April. We've got Tableau Conference in May, Connections in June, and Dreamforce in September. And so the community conferences, there's a link at the bottom. We can get that in the chat. If I can copy and paste while, I'm talking to everyone. Fantastic. And we will get the link to the community conferences in the chat so that you all can check out your calendars and see where you're going to meet everybody. I will say that, I really love the local conferences. They've got a nice, nice cozy feel. So next slide, I guess. Thank you, Squire. Because if I turn the page on my computer, it doesn't do anything. The QR code will get you to the community group in the Trailblazer community, or it'll come up on your phone if you have Trailhead installed on your phone. We do invite everyone to share their experiences, insights, and ideas with the group. Post your links and resources and answers in the chat so everyone can share and use and click around. We all read at different paces. I like to read with a giant font because, I don't like to wear my glasses. They're around here somewhere. And if you have a question, post it in the chat or raise your hand. Y'all have that little button at the bottom, reaction button, raise your hand. Okay. And also remember, we are recording the session. So everything here will wind up on YouTube. And so please do not share any private or proprietary information. And under no circumstances can our call be transcribed by an AI tool. We want to keep this a safe and positive and healthy environment for all of us. And we want to have fun, but we also want to stay professional and positive. So bottom line with that line is like, we all want you to keep your job. We don't want this call to be the reason that's a problem. All right, I think we got through all this one. Next. Oh, we've got Pat, Ryan, and Michael. Fantastic. And Pat is on the call. I don't see Ryan. And I think this is a different Michael, not Michael Klotner. So we can start with,
Am I saying that right? And I think the second two, by the way, there was some conversation and they might be resolved, but I want to make sure as long as they were there, we could bring them up. So anyway, but yeah, Pat had a question about a report. Pat, do you want to take it away?
Yeah, somebody answered it, and I'm kind of resigned that we're just going to have those blanks. And
so can we start at the beginning?
Okay.
I
All
read
right.
your question.
Pat has this platform called Salesforce.
She took over an existing org and she's trying to clean it up.
Pat, can you tell me about the issue with which we are trying to solve? Like,
okay, I was asked to create these reports, and they were kind of so hard in our org that my boss reduced it from having to get all 7 done to getting 4 done.
Sure.
So for my KPIs, okay? So anyway, after a lot of hard work and just going back and forth, anyway, let's cut this down. I get these reports, and then I tried filtering out all the where the lines came up blank, and I could not get those all filtered out. So I put a question out there: how do I get rid of these blanks? And I know somebody answered it, and I'm just resigned that I'm gonna have those stupid blanks. And
yeah.
So
if I can fill in a little bit of color there. So the blanks are a combination of both fields that have no data, but also summaries that are summarizing nulls effectively, right?
Mm-hmm. Come on, Squire, you're asking like a question for a 12th grader. I'm still.
Well, no, that's okay. I mean, because you had a screenshot. Unfortunately, I don't know why, but I cannot get the screenshot to load all of a sudden. Let me just grab the link if anybody wants to take a look at it and see if theirs will load. But it appeared to me that you were dealing with two things. So you had aggregations. The individual aggregations must be the columns either don't have values or aren't something that's going to sum or something to that extent. And so you're not really excluding blanks. What you really need to do is if you're trying to exclude records that shouldn't be aggregated, then you just need more filters. If you're trying to get rid of a summary row that has blanks, well, by definition, it's going to summarize if you've got the data there. So, I think there's a little. I'd hate for you to just give up on it, Pat. I think there's something to be said about what the report is attempting to do. Is anybody able to actually get that screenshot to load from the link? Because, like I said, I don't know why, but all of a sudden all mine are dead links for images.
I've got it.
I'm able to see it.
Screen share it.
Yeah, yes. Somebody wants to screen share so we can kind of unify on what was shared in the post.
Look at that redacted data. I love it.
So yeah, I had to post it like that, and I can't share my screen because there's actual customer names in there. And
I am giving you a thumbs up on the way this was presented to everyone. Thank you. I appreciate the work that went into making sure that you protected the data. Thank you.
Thanks.
So by blank lines, are you talking about the lines where the subtotal exists?
Yeah, yes. So
why not take out the grouping? Because you can sort on a field without including grouping.
Are there
you can
some subtotals that do have values that you do want to see though?
There are a few that do have values, and that's probably why the reason I didn't take out the grouping is because I'd like for I guess you could say, the customers to be grouped all together and then be able to subtotal, and I guess I could sort it either ascending or descending.
Are these? But what is the blank line in this example that you were trying to remove? Is it
hold on,
white?
Let me ask a fundamental question. What is this report trying to do? Right. So if the report's trying to do something and there happens to be blank, right, that might be a valid row to display, that there was no opportunity or whatever for this customer in the filtered date range that you have. So if you could tell us what the report's purpose is, I think that would help derive, a better solution. Because if you start filtering things out, right, you might erroneously remove critical data where null or zero is appropriate. So what's the purpose of the report?
Sorry, I'm late to the party, but what report type is this? Is this a multi-object report? Like, is the blank line on an optional child record? Like, using the opportunity analogy, like, you could have a report. Yeah, exactly. Like, could the
and that was the question I also had as well.
I see customer name, account type. Is this a report that has account object and a child object, and the blank lines are fields that are on the child record that may not even be there at all?
These are accounts with our AR items, and that's how instead of invoices, we have AR items.
Okay.
And AR so item lines.
Is it possible for this to report to have an account record in it that does not have an AR item record associated with it?
And
is it a custom report type too?
Yes, it is a custom report type.
Okay, because so if these hyphens we're looking at are accounts for which there is no AR item, and so therefore it's not revenue line total is blank. Revenue line total does not exist for that account. In that case, you might be able to use a report cross filter to filter, but then you're filtering out the account records. Crap.
Right. So that's what I was saying from the start was like, what is the purpose of this report?
Yeah.
It may have to have legitimate zeros. If you had no business with this particular customer, right? It depends on what the objective of the report is.
Exactly. Sometimes it's kind of wonky how it's displayed, but what you're seeing is the truth. And to know that truth, you got to see it has to be presented in this way to filter it out of the report, to filter out those account records from the report. Now you're actually not seeing the whole picture.
Or you could say, hey, this is only the accounts at which we have AR line items for this duration. Therefore, if it's not listed, so it could remove all these zeros and blanks, right? Then that can help change how you're filtering with that cross filter that Steve Moe had mentioned.
Yeah.
So I'm putting my business analyst hat on. What is the purpose of this report? What are the requirements? I can then help you out with the solution.
I want to add with a training hat on, Pat, to go back to the report type question. Is this a report type that is, it's clearly not, we don't know for sure because of everything that's blanked out. It sounds like this is not a report type that is accounts with AR line items, because that with would mean the accounts that don't have AR line items would not show up on the report. So this is some sort of report type, presumably custom, that is with and without. It's actually with or without AR line items.
Yeah.
And given the with or without, which is important, and you sometimes need that report type, an account will show up on this report even if it has no AR line items, and that is when you have to have, like Steve Moe said, the non-existent data in that row.
The only other thing that would make sense would be if there is in fact one of these line item records, but all of these fields, and this is totally implausible, but the only way that would make sense would be like if there is an AR line item record and yet every single one of these fields is empty, that doesn't make sense. This to me, it says there is no AR line item record for this account record. And that's why the report is displaying this, which is not optimal, but it's the only way the report can really tell the story, I guess.
Yes. It is with or without. It is a with or without. So I would say that I should go back to the report type, create a new report type with a with, and then it won't give me all these blanks. Okay.
Yes, and. So first.
Pardon?
Yes, and. First of all, you almost certainly have a standard custom report type of accounts with AR line items, because unless somebody hit it, you get that as soon as you create the AR line item custom object. So then that's the with version. But the other and part is If what you're trying to report on is all of our accounts, and for those that have AR line items, what's their outstanding balance, you need the with and without to get the all of our accounts part. But if this is just a report of clients or customers that have an outstanding balance, then yeah, you can do the just with.
Yeah, I mean, like if the purpose of this report is to also show the white space, who haven't we sold to yet, or who haven't we got one of these records with, then yeah, you need that with or without. You need to, I mean, there might be a way to, I'm trying to think, like kind of add a grouping, have like a top level grouping of the customer, this line item record. Like, do you have a power of one field on this line item record?
No.
Okay, like something benign, something that like because if you pick a field and that field could have like multiple, a whole bunch of different values in it, and you make that your primary grouping. Now your primary grouping is going to be like 20, 30, hundreds or more of report groups. But like if you have like a power of one field, you could take your AR line item power of one field, make that your primary grouping. All your accounts that don't have an AR line item are now going to be grouped together in your secondary, like your current primary row group customer name. That now becomes your secondary. All the accounts that don't have one are all going to be lumped together nice and neat, and then all the ones that do have an AR on them are all going to be grouped together nice and neat. That might be one way to do it.
This was
if the problem we're trying to solve is visual and like trying to eliminate all this like white space noise, I guess.
Okay, so this was a report that showed our distributors that sold some lighting products, that top 25 either OEM or more like top 25 building automation products. So, and I think maybe I just did I did 1 month or 1 year. I did the current and previous 2 calendar years. So, so that's, for some reason, you have a few that sell a lot, and you have many that sell a little bit or sell none. So, and it's just a segment of our business. Okay. So what you're saying is I need to create a power of one field and determine where that is.
Well, be careful, not need, but it definitely helps you answer a different question in a different way, right?
Right. And I can do it in the sandbox and, not mess up anything.
Sure.
So, okay.
Yeah, there's like, I mean, I think everybody's ideas are all applicable, right? It really comes down to what you need to deliver. Every one of these responses will solve the problem in its own special way.
Yeah.
Right.
It doesn't have to be a power of one field, although those, you should have one on every object for reporting purposes. But like something else that is like, it's relatively benign. It's either going to show a one or a one, or it's not going to show a one, or it's going to be a checkbox or not, or or it's not. Something that's not going to potentially have like, again, dozens, hundreds of different values in it or something like that.
Okay. Yeah. Luckily for me, this is more of a me problem, as in I don't like how it looks. Our users aren't as sophisticated yet to say, why do we have all those blanks, or for it to cause a problem visually for them. Okay. So, but, I don't want all those blanks. So anyway, Hey, appreciate you guys. Thank you.
No problem.
Awesome.
We're all waving at Byron. Like Sarah brought the biggest distraction to this call ever. Thanks so much. Yes. Sarah will be back. Byron's gonna go visit another room.
Pat, joking aside, I hope we were helpful in trying to at least help kind of pull away at arriving to a solution. But the last 5 minutes I was not even listening, but I think Squire was though.
Hey,
Squire and Steve were listening.
I have thick skin. I don't care because I'll just come back and ask you guys some more questions. I'm not afraid to ask questions. So,
but as you progress to the requirements, do let us know if you need continued support on that same thread, and let's see where we can take this. And hopefully, you'll either get the top 25 and then remove the filters, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, good luck.
Yeah, it's kind of like we only have 64 distributors that sell our lighting products because we sell our lighting products through distributors. So, I mean, it's not like it's going to kill somebody. It's not like we have 1,000 and we want to know the top 25. So, but hey, I don't care if you guys are listening or not. I don't have a problem asking questions.
We're listening, Pat. We just got really distracted by the child in the room.
Yep. No problem.
It's like, those early COVID calls where like a child walks into the room, we're like, oh, what's happening? All very distracted. It's okay. But I think who said this? Like, we need to sell some more, maybe, folks, or maybe they need to log their opportunities. I don't know.
Right, and that's a joke. And again, joking aside, that's why I said what I did. I was like, what are the requirements? So some of the zeros may be legitimate, right? So we can encourage as a sales manager our sales, our field sales folks on what they need to do, and then so that's why I added the make more sales, bro. Then the zeros won't be there.
We're having a record year, and we're really probably way high up over last year. This is only one division of our company.
Right. So. Is all the data getting into Salesforce?
What?
Is all the data getting into Salesforce?
I would say so because it comes from our ERP. Okay. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to send a lot of these reports to my manager because I don't have login access to the ERP. Right. I mean, Salesforce is enough for me. Okay. And let him double check. Right. To make sure.
Because those line items, if they're expecting those line items to be null, then this report is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. But if they're expecting big numbers for some of these, then it's like, well, where are we missing things?
Right. Well, I mean, hey, we're having a record year as a company, and
that's great. That's great.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Squire, who was next on our list?
Well, so Ryan and Michael both posted. There was lots of conversation on both of them. They're not here to talk about any of it, and rather than just read the post, I say we just throw it to the group. What else is top of mind? Has anybody got something today?
I mean, I want to know what kind of cookies everyone's making, but no one wants to talk about cookies.
I think Bill had a post.
I did have a post, guys.
Oh, fantastic! How did we miss that, Squire?
Because he just snuck it in.
I just came in at about 1:45.
All right, Bill, tell us all about it.
And I've already got an answer, which might be helpful, but I can go through the scenario with you guys, and I'll take any other thoughts. It's about Salesforce for Outlook and connected apps. What I'm trying to do is lock down the connected apps in our org. And right now, a lot of them are set to, I always get this mixed up, but it's, where is it? It's set to, sorry guys, let me just find the right wording. They're all set to a lot of them are set to all users may self-authorize. So we want to change that obviously to admin approved users or pre-authorized to to try and lock them down. And I did a test with Workbench in my sandbox and was able to log in. Then I, to Workbench, okay. And then I went back and made the change to admin approved users are pre-authorized. Went back to Workbench, tried to get in and I couldn't. Fine, perfect, expected that. That's what I wanted. I did the same for Outlook for Salesforce for Outlook. And when I went back in the second time, I could still get in. And it was explained to me by Edwin, who posted an answer that Salesforce for Outlook uses older auth and user permissions, not just a connected app policy. So if someone's already connected, they keep using it as long as their session is alive and they still have the Outlook permission on their profile. So that's why I think that happened to me. So I got to go back and look at the profile and see what else is out there, and see if I can even figure out maybe if some folks are using it. We think they are, so I've got to make sure I don't lock anybody out, obviously. So, but I think that's why that's happening. Again, I was going on just the connected app policy and not looking at the profile and things like that, which I wasn't aware of.
Well, there's on top of all that, there was that change in September that just outright blocks anyone to have an uninstalled app have access. So make sure you're checking your installed status of those connected apps when they apply as well.
Right. Agreed. Yep.
We actually, there was some commentary at Baird about whether or not we needed to worry about it, which I thought was hilarious. And then we started getting tickets because no one could get in. And I was kind of like, no, it's working as designed. You said we shouldn't care about it. And now they're getting blocked. And it turned into actually a kind of like broken but working like process improvement. So now we know why certain things are installed. We understand why we're either unlocked or admin approved. Like it turned into really a good solution with just some ticked off users to start. So anyway.
That's
growing pains.
Exactly. That might be what happens to us, but I'm trying my best to sort of, do this on an off hour situation so that if I make the changes and, because I can then add like if I wanted to add a profile to it so that whoever's using, like a lot of folks are using Salesforce or iOS. So if I go make the change and put one of the profiles that I know we have users in, they come in the next day and use it, they're going to be fine. So, but it's just a matter of doing the right, timing it right and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
do you have a plan for the updated end of life for SFO?
No. No.
Right.
I have no idea.
Yeah, us either. The newest date I saw was January 27, I think it is.
Somewhere in 2027, yeah.
Yeah. It might be December 27. Is it 2 years out?
For which thing?
The end of life of Salesforce for Outlook.
Hold on.
It's changed so many times, it's almost a non-announcement, but we've been talking about it forever, so.
That's all right. My favorite thing lately is to be like, no, we are not building anything on Chatter. Thank you. No. Just no. All right.
Thank you, folks.
You bet.
So, Squire, I had an interesting thing happen when we were locking down our connected apps.
Yeah.
I got to get rid of about 6 of them.
That's the best.
I found the users that I contacted and I said, oh, we just tried that out. We don't use it anymore. My next move was block and uninstall.
big fan of that. Yep.
That was a good day. I had a lot of fun that day. See ya.
What was better? Being able to delete or not having to say, what the hell is this thing?
Yeah,
because that's the one that we always have.
I did both.
Right, it was looking at that short list instead of like hey.
And for anyone on the call that hasn't done this yet, this list view is still broken. The Manage Connected Apps list view, if you look at permitted users, it does not show the correct value. You must drill into the form.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how that works. That's odd to me.
I mean, I understand, but I don't. It's okay. It's right. That's not my circus today. Not my circus today. But
yeah, I left the ring too.
Keep that in my back pocket. You guys are funny. Mike says official retirement is 2027, and that is about all we get. And that could be 13 months away. That could be 25 months away. Is that the right math? I can't do calendar math.
Yeah. Yeah. Did we just get an announcement even? Like
official retirement for what? Is 2027?
Salesforce for Outlook.
Oh, okay. Because there are other things in 2027. I saw that SOAP API logins are being retired then too.
Oh, well, hello, Will. Do you have a question? Comment? Your favorite cookie recipe? I'm like open to all of these things. Will, where'd you go?
He has jumped in and out several times. I wonder if he's having connection issues.
All right. Well, when you come back, we'll get your question and everything. I hope everything's going well for you. I know that. Interesting.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
can you hear me now?
Yeah. Hi, Verizon.
All right. I'm in. Yeah. I'm in two places. So I do have an interesting question we can talk through about flow behavior that I've learned.
Okay.
First off, recent learning, you can string screen flows together by invoking a screen flow from another screen flow.
Okay.
Second thing is the interesting behavior that has come up is if you have an unhandled fault in the child screen flow and you want the parent subflow to finish, you have to use some sort of element. I'm still testing through it, but if you put nothing there on the fault handling path, it will fail. So put nothing in fault handling on a DML element within your child screen flow, it fails. If you put a screen in that fault path, and you don't even have to have the screen do anything other than display text, and then the user hits finish, it will go back to the parent screen flow and finish.
Sure. What did you want to have happen?
Yeah. Really, I'd like to not have to use the screen element in the child screen flow so that the end user doesn't necessarily even know that there was this unhandled DML fault. Because then we'll still get the logging and the flow logs and everything. But right now, what we're seeing is we have to put something in that fault path to fully exit the child screen flow.
So that doesn't entirely surprise me because keeping in mind that depending on the type of flow initiation, faults handle things differently, as well as, like you said, some screens will like effectively pseudo commit. So I think there's a couple things happening all at once. When you say string together screen flows, is it effectively a subflow screen flow?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So without going into a lot of details, and basically what it is we've got on a case record, we have a flow that is sort of like a handler class, and it's routing the user to a number of different screen flows based upon criteria within that. And then there's other screen flows that do other work and are reusable in other flows throughout the enterprise. But the recent finding is that if you have one of the children have an unhandled fault and you do put in a fault path, if you don't do anything in that fault path, the whole thing fails. But if you put just a screen that says, hey, there was an error and the user hits finish, then your child finishes, and because you're avoiding where the fault occurred, and it goes back to the parent and finishes too.
But if the user doesn't hit finish and just gives up and closes the screen, then you don't get your DML anyway.
Right, because if you don't do anything in the fault path, they receive the error and they can't proceed anyway. And so everything will be rolled back. So the purpose of bringing it up and the question would be, is there a way where you can make it so that the fault path results in you going back to the parent and finishing the parent without having to present the user with something to do.
Can you write code?
Wait,
yeah, a little bit.
I have a potential suggestion without code. Couldn't you do something else on the fault path and then connect it to the end? Like an assignment that doesn't matter?
Yeah, so I wondered if I could do an assignment. That was going to be my next test, to see if I just do it a simple assignment and it just goes through. But at the end of every fault path is the end. So that's what was interesting to me, is that regardless of whether I have a screen there or not, on the fault path you go to end. But again, when you leave that path open, for whatever reason, it ends everything.
So, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think there is a thing about screen flows and failure that you need a screen. Like screens have to, so a screen flow needs to go from a screen to a screen. So the flight of the transaction has to end on a screen. Mm-hmm. Or it has to end on a specific thing that takes the screen away. Because it's a screen flow.
Mm-hmm.
So the screen needs to be there because it's like a kind of like a piece of the architecture. Flow expects a thing, and so it wants there to be a thing there. You can eliminate the need for screen in this instance by taking the actual DML and moving it to an asynchronous process. And so the transaction is enqueuing the thing that will fail, which would allow you to not actually even experience the failures, skip it, and then you handle your failures however you want in code. But I think from like a structural element, I don't think you can have a screen flow that at the end of a transaction doesn't result in a screen or something that is like taking you to another, but like you need direction.
Yeah. It's almost like someone explained or described it one time as, think of a screen like an object being instantiated, but if you don't return it by leaving the screen, it doesn't do anything. It's almost like it just didn't exist then, right? So I also know that if you use a screen with a fault path, screen flow with a fault path, you have to add a custom error in order to get it to roll back. And if you don't have a custom error, then it does roll back. And so I'm wondering if you're not also interacting with something along that space. Granted, you have to see all the hops, but like maybe what you're actually experiencing looks like one thing, but is something else.
Mm-hmm.
I'm super excited to just try this like subflow screen flow thing. That I never thought about doing that, but I'm wondering if there's a transition there, because like you've also got that weird like when a subflow instantiates what it represents as far as the entire interview, right? Like there's some weirdness there as well.
Right. Yeah. I'll do some more experimenting. I don't expect a resolution on this. I'm hearing everything, and we'll do some experiments to see what we get to at the end of the day. But it's interesting that it sounds like nobody's necessarily experienced this specific scenario in a way, at least on this call, to resolve it without the user having to interact with a screen, as is being suggested.
Can I ask a question? I don't know if you've tried this. I can't, and I just couldn't spin up a screen flow fast enough to test it. But can't you connect the fault path? I know it defaults to being at the end, but can't you do a connect to element and connect it back to somewhere else in your flow?
I could, but that wouldn't make sense because the fault is actually occurring at the very end of the transaction. And it's actually on the last element before the transaction ends. And it's a logic flaw, and it's going to require a bigger rebase of the whole set of flows. And so right now we're just looking for the patch solution to get us past the error for a period of time. And then we can talk about rebasing and everything.
I mean,
but yeah, you could reroute it to a different place, but it would just leave the user in this kind of loop terror place.
Can't you just put a rollback element after the fault?
We don't want to. I could try that. I don't know if that would give us the outcome we want, because what we actually want at the end of this, and this goes back to the need to rebase things a little bit, is we want some of the output logic from the child flow that for the child flow to complete, it's missing one critical element that is like a core function of it. But we want every other byproduct from the child flow.
Got it. All right.
I was going to say, I think Mike's right in that, like, even if you have a screen flow that ends on a DML, like it'll just say that your flow is finished, right? It leaves that screen up there. And I have a bunch of screen flows that have sub screen flows, but they all, like, they have to finish to get back to the parent one. I don't know of another way of getting back there. And I think you have to do it through a screen or navigate them somewhere else, but that doesn't really make sense to going back to the parent.
I mean, I can say most of the ones that I have that have a fault path have some kind of screen that shows the person what the error or provides them a message of some kind, and then it returns. But a lot of times when I have them, it's a case of, like, I've got a data table showing related records, and then I have a button that kicks off your choice of a sub screen flow. So like that particular flow, when you click that button, it opens a little box and you can choose which subflow you want to go to, basically.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What about, I mean, do you understand enough about what the fault path looks like that it's not actually you could manage it by having a decision element so it doesn't fault, or it faults more specifically, I guess is what I'm saying. I mean, it obviously takes a lot of understanding of what your path does, but like if you're planning for a fault, if it's happening that often, can you identify where that fault could be resolved with logic?
Yeah, we can. And are you suggesting to do that in the fault path, or are you suggesting to do that somewhere in the broader flow?
I guess I would say wherever it makes the most sense. But like, I guess all I'm suggesting is that sometimes the fault path is a good way to be like, well, if it doesn't work, I can get out of it. But like, if that's not an option, then the next thing is like, well, understand what faults could happen and handle the ones you expect, and then not handle the ones that you can't possibly expect. You might get closer to target without having to refactor the entire thing.
Yeah, so I had a brief conversation with one of our developers about this exact thing, to kind of talk through what you're suggesting, Squire, on I could put a decision element just before the update element that's causing the DML error, or the update element that's causing the error. Where we kind of landed was, the nice thing of leaving it in the fault path is when you go down a fault path, it still sends you the error log in the failed flow interviews.
Right.
So if you exit out another way, which we're assuming would get you back to the parent flow successfully, you would no longer have that log of a fault, which I think, if I recognize the voice, that was Mike that was suggesting using code and then start handling the fault that way too, which is kind of saying the same thing, but doing it more custom and logging it somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's two different answers, right? You either handle the fault because you want to know it was a failure, or you handle the fault by not making it a fault, making it an expected outcome. Sorry, Mike, you were going to say something.
Right.
No, I was going to say, yes, it is me. But yeah, Squire, like if the goal is I want, I get that maybe one of 5 DMLs is failing and I want to keep the other 4. So I'm going to kick this one to be asynchronous, which allows my current transaction to complete. I keep my records. I get what I can. This other one that I know is error prone, that's what I'm going to call it. Sometimes it works and it happens a second later. Sometimes it fails, and then I handle that fault through some other means that has now become isolated.
Yep.
But that's going to be code because you're going async. You're going to enqueue something.
Yeah, well, and in this particular scenario, we can't go async because of the purpose of the screen flows. Unfortunately, we can enqueue the error. We could put the error and the fault handling asynchronously. We could totally do that. Send all the details somewhere else and log it. But the screens themselves, the end user needs to actually complete the whole transaction, child and parent flow.
Could you go async by firing a platform event and then a platform event triggered flow that would be done before the user had a chance to even click to the next screen? So it's quote unquote async, but it happens essentially sync.
Nowish.
I like nowish. That's a good time.
I always like that stuff. Nowish. Yeah, I mean, we could consider that. That's where we start to go to like, well, that feels like we're starting to talk bigger about like rebasing the whole thing. I guess a little more context is our instance grew substantially in both user count and complexity. And as to be expected when the consultant left, there are some rough edges. There are just more rough edges than we expected. And we're circling around this rebasing conversation regularly because we colloquially, internally, will call them the mega flows that the consultant left us. There's a lot of bugs in them and we're working through them. And part of it is just to stabilize and get the business unit comfortable so that we don't look bad or have egg on our face with the new implementation. And then the admin developer team will be coming back and rebasing and reconfiguring where it makes sense. So like event that, yeah, absolutely. We could talk about that, but that feels like a bigger solution, just like Mike's with sending it to a custom place. So we're in the patch fix kind of thing right now.
I think you might actually be at the rebase point.
Yeah, don't fool yourself, right?
I hate to be the one to say this, Will, but it kind of sounds broken.
Yeah. Oh, no, don't worry.
Kinda.
It's coming. It's coming.
Generous. Kinda.
Yeah, it's coming. So we don't have to talk to the anymore.
Nowish.
Now, yeah, you'll have to let the managers and the people who hold the budget and that kind of stuff. They'll have to. Yep. We'll see how that goes.
You just got to start working on the conviction of it's broke. We got to.
Yeah.
I could fix it. I could patch it. It's like nope, and then just step back and wait for it to happen.
Will, do you not know the trick of adding your executives' email addresses to the Apex error email list?
Yeah, that's going to go really good. I like that, Mike.
Well,
I'm not saying you should do that. Like Salesforce does not endorse this behavior.
it is effective in like raising a concern quickly.
For the record, I just created a test with the subflow with an assignment on the fault path, and that totally worked.
Oh, did it really?
So, yeah, I can show you if you want. It's very simple, but
I just compliment
I mean,
you?
it's a bad idea.
I love that you were like, oh, hold on, wait a second. Let me do this incredibly complex thing here in the 3 minutes while you all are discussing this. Hold, please. I love
and
that.
also while you took our favorite distraction off screen and like
if I understand the situation, I mean, there's a DML in the subflow, it faults, I put an assignment there, it goes back to the parent flow. That's what we're trying to do. Yes. Yeah.
The only difference is that it's a screen flow being invoked by a parent screen flow.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. I'm with Mike. Impressive that you listened to the whole conversation and built two screen flows and invoked. Yeah. Impressive.
They're very, very simple, but
not for everybody, Sarah.
Okay.
Take the credit where credit's due.
Sorry, I take that back. Yes, you're right.
Anyway, thank you. I'll report back, Sarah. Thank you. Yes, that's fine. It still proves concept. So I'll test that out too. I'll report back in a future session what we end up doing. If we get the rebase, which is probably not going to happen this calendar year.
You mean in the next 13 days?
That's not how many working days there are. There's like 8. I don't know. Someone do the calendar, man. All the things. Anything else? Anything else?
It's quiet.
Well, so I need to report back on this, but I am planning on making peanut butter jelly cookies. We'll see how they go. That's all I got. You guys, I want to know what the cookie recipes are. No one's helping me. No one's sharing with me.
Do you know the book Snacking Bakes?
I don't want a book. I want your favorite recipe.
Oh, okay.
I have all the books. I have all the books.
Like I was gonna say like every recipe in there, but
no. Just like
the favorite.
Like someone's got, you all have your favorite recipe or something that you've tried out that is unusual and not like Pat's waving at me. Are you saying bye? Oh man, I thought she was gonna share a recipe. She's like, I got a recipe. No. Oh, Pat, you're muted. No, Pat, you're muted. Talk more. Yeah.
Oh, please enter 25 cents to continue your conversation.
Okay. I have all my mom's recipes, okay?
But which is the favorite one that you're going to make?
For me, it is the Mexican wedding cakes because they're not overly got that powdered sugar on there. They are awesome. So I have to get them out anyway to take them back to my mom. She doesn't know I have them, but I have to. So I will somehow send you those.
What? No,
copy them.
No, I just want your one favorite one, and you told me
Mexican wedding cakes.
Mexican wedding cakes.
That's my mom's Mexican wedding cakes.
Does she make them different?
They're not over powdered sugar because you roll them in the powdered sugar while they're warm.
Mm-hmm.
And they're the best.
She's got a different approach to it. I will look at the recipe and
so I'll get it to you.
Okay. All right. I appreciate that. Mike, are you talking to us, Mike? I can't hear you.
Bill Hare, what is this?
They are Oreo truffles. In other words, you take Oreo, I want to say cream cheese, or make them into balls.
I'm in.
So yeah, you pulverize the Oreos and then mix them with the cream cheese and like I'm sure some other fantastic ingredients, maybe additional sugar, but the cream from the Oreo cookie and the additional cream cheese makes it delicious. And then you roll it in white chocolate or milk chocolate, whichever you prefer, and you can add sprinkles if you like. They are amazing, delicious. One of my relatives used to make these all the time, and man, if you make them the right size, you just pop them in, and you're just like, "How did I eat a whole packet of Oreos?" How?
You can even use different. If you're into vanilla or something, you can use different types of Oreos. We use the golden Oreos with the white chocolate, which is amazing.
I know all about the types of Oreos. I'm well cultured.
Just an Oreo side comment. 2 of our developers share a birthday, and every year for the birthday, they bring in a buffet, and there's like 30 or some odd different flavors, shapes, colors, sizes to choose from. It's the best day of the year.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm feeling like Mike deprived us this past year of DevOps streaming by not repeating the Oreo thing.
Look, sometimes I am moved to buy many different types of Oreos so that I can taste test them and put them in a bracket and then do ranked choice voting to decide which is best. But I can't do that every year,
One year you totally do M&Ms instead.
I did M&Ms this year, Sarah.
Okay, Hershey Kisses. I mean, there's
Oh, I know. I actually really want to do the Kit Kats.
He could also recruit a bunch of us and just assign us a few to bring, and then we.
Yeah.
Did you want Kit Kats? What?
My daughter's still looking for her favorite Kit Kat flavor. She feels like it was an exclusive thing that we got in Japan, and she hasn't seen it since.
There's definitely flavors that are only available in Japan.
Do you know why they do that? In Japanese culture, it's very traditional to bring a gift back that is a food from that place. And so when you travel in Japan, they're little boxes, very fancily wrapped boxes of, little treats, and they're only made in that area. And Kit Kat wanted to get into the Japanese market. And so they said, well, we'll make individual Kit Kats, but regionalize them to the regions of Japan and only market and sell them in that area. And it absolutely worked. It's the number one candy in Japan.
Though, I mean, I will say it is a flavor that we got at a grocery store there. So it wasn't like it was a bag. She's just very upset I can't find it again. But they also do a lot of one.
Amazon has them all.
But they. So the other thing they do a lot of is they will do a limited time thing and have that flavor just for a limited time there, and that's the only place you'll get it, and they will never reproduce it.
So,
testing. It's all product testing. Like,
this is like the Girl Scout cookie bakery factory thing to like a even more granular level. Like there's the ABC bakery and the Little Brown Baker's bakery, and
they make some of the cookies that are very similar, but they have slight different tastes.
That's
we've bought from both to do the taste test thing.
And different names too.
Yeah, so Samoa's versus Caramel Delights.
Caramel Delights, yeah.
And Trefoils versus just shortbread cookie, and Tagalongs versus chocolate peanut butter cookie.
Peanut butter patties. I like the lemonade ones. Those were fantastic.
Yeah, the other baker didn't have lemonade.
This brings us to the top of the hour.
Is there a consensus? Is one bakery superior to the other, or is it like, okay, if you want a Samoa, you got to go with the ABC, but if you want this other one, you got to go Little Brownie?
Little Brownie all the way. But that's because I grew up with it.
Yeah, but only one of the bakers had the Toastier, but they canceled it after the year, so I'm kind of sad.
Welcome to my world, Squire. I just derail all conversations with food, candy, cookies.
Sometimes this is the best part of the call.
Fantastic. It's fantastic. Thank you all for joining us today. One of the things that I did want to mention before we shut down the recording is that I'm just very grateful for all of you. And thank you for, just building the fabric of the community in such a great way. Bring the people with you, bring your colleagues with you, send people that are asking questions this way. Because sometimes it just takes the human connection, because putting it into the community sometimes is like we're missing like something, right? And no matter how many times you've explained something, you kind of get the context when you have 15 people asking you, well, why? Well, what? Well, what about this? And what about this? And when you're just like, oh, I hadn't thought about all of these things. So thank you all for joining us, and Happy New Year. And whatever holidays you celebrate, we love you guys. Thanks for joining us. We love you gals. We love you all. Happy MVP office hours.
Everybody.
Bye, friends.
All the best.
Bye. Bye. Have a great weekend. New Year, great everything. Great. Oh my gosh. It's not snowing today. I'm very happy about this.
Bye all.
Bye everyone.